Hi guys, so today we are going to be configuring RIP version 2 or Router Information Protocol version 2. We configured a RIP version 1 in our previous tutorial. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. In this one, we shall be adding just a slight command, and that is how RIP version 2 is configured. So we are going to be following this topology that you see on your screen. They are basically 5 networks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 networks, okay? Each interface to a router represents a network. We covered the basics in previous videos, so if you haven't checked them out, please do. I'll be rushing through the basics, such that once we reach that part where we need to configure RIP, I'll explain a little bit more. So we have a serial connection between the routers. They are on a /30, meaning they are 2 usable IPs. I'll explain the subnetting and IP addressing in a much later video. Let's first try to learn how to configure these things, such that later on, when I explain such concepts, you have an idea. So the rest, these 2 LANs are on a /24. This upper one is on a /16. Okay. And we didn't configure IP addressing on this, but I believe even if we use this, you would still get the idea. So let's go ahead and start with the router 2. This one here. We configure the basics and we proceed with the rest. So we shall move to the privileged exec mode and the global config. Let's rename it to R2. Okay, and then we secure our privileged exec mode with a password. Cisco, please, in a production environment, use a more secure password. This is just for learning or demonstration purposes. So enable secret, Cisco, we secure our console port, our remote lines, and we shall configure a banner message of the day such that when someone is first logging in, a message is displayed to them such that they know whether to proceed with their action or not. And then we shall secure the entire config, and that will be it. All right, so let's go ahead. So line console 0 password Cisco. I require that when logging in. We disable interruption when typing our commands, and we also disable domain lookup such that in case we type a wrong command, it doesn't take those few precious seconds, 15 to 20 seconds, trying to resolve the text to an IP address. So domain lookup. All right, okay. Line v2 0 specify password Cisco login up synchronous, and then we exit. Okay, and then we can encrypt our passwords, service password encryption, and then banner message of the day. We can say authorized access only. Okay. Yes, and that's it. And then we can save. Okay. All right. And then we go to router 1. We configure the same. Enable password enable conft hostname R1. Secure that. Let's use enable secret. Cisco What else? Line console 0 password Cisco logging synchronous. No exec timeout is what I was looking for. What else? I think that's it. Exit, then line VTY shall secure 6 puts. Password Cisco logging and logging synchronous. No exec timeout, and we can exit and banner message of the day. We say authorized access only. Okay. And we secure all the config by encrypting it. And that's basically it. We go to the last router. We do the same. Conf T, configure terminal. We secure our privileged exec mode. Cisco run hostname R3 line console 0 password Cisco. Okay, logging synchronous. Logging synchronous. Okay. All right. And now exec timeout. And you exit. And we secure the remote lines. Line VTY is 05. VTY stands for virtual teletype. Password Cisco. Require that one logging synchronous. Okay. No exec timeout. Just for demonstration purposes, in a production environment, please make sure your terminal times out. And then we can exit and save that. Okay. So we are done with the basics. I don't know whether I configured the banner message of the day here. I don't think I did. Let me just do that. Okay, doesn't take a second. All right. Good. And we save that. So we are going to configure IP addressing on the interfaces. Okay. We start with router 2. We have these two serial interfaces and this LAN interface. The first Ethernet interface. So we have first Ethernet 0/0 and then 03.0 and 02.0. Okay. So we shall say interface serial 2/0 IP address. We'll give it this IP address. IP address 209.165.200.229, right? In Juniper, you'd simply write a /30, but in Cisco, you have to write the hexadecimal equivalent. So 255.255.255.2510, right? /30 is a 252, and then you say no shut. It will come up once this other side of router 1, this interface, also comes up. Otherwise, it will remain down, okay? And then we exit and we configure the first Ethernet. Or let's just get done with the serials. Serial 3/0. IP address is a 233. All right. So we shall set 209.165.200.233. 255.255.255.252. And then we say no shut. So it will remain down until the other side of this interface comes up. Okay. And so we are left with the first Ethernet. Right. First interface first Ethernet 0/0. Give it an IP address. This will be a .1, 10.1.0.1/16, and this will be the gateway, the default gateway for this PC. All right. So we shall say IP address 10.1. Is it 10.1? 10.1.0.1. 255.255.0.0. And then we say no shutdown. All right. So it came up, and we can save that. All right. We can double check by saying show. We can just exit this. Instead of typing the do command, we shall just say show IP interface brief. All right, it will show you all the interfaces up. This is up with its IP address. All right, we have about two serial ports. They remain down, but IP addressing is up. They'll come up once the other side of the interface comes up. We can also say show IP route. So right now it knows of only one directly connected route, and that is the 10.1.0.0. It is directly connected through first Ethernet 0/0. This is the network it knows about. It hasn't learned of the other side. Okay. So that's it. Let's go and configure the same on this router. Okay. So we are going to configure IP addressing. We have three interfaces still. We have this serial 2.0. We have the first Ethernet 1.0, and then first Ethernet 0.0. So let's start with the serial. It's an interface serial 2/0 IP address. The IP address is this. Remember, this was 229. This is 230. The /30, remember, has two usable IP addresses. So we shall say 209.165.200.230. 255.255.255.252. And now we'll see the magic. Once we unshut it, both sides have come up. All right. We should receive a message telling us that the other side is also up. Exactly. So you can always disable these messages, by the way, if you want, but they are very, very important. Why would you even think of disabling them? They tell you exactly what is happening in real time. Okay, slightly. It may take a few seconds, 1 or 2, but they tell you exactly what you just did, whether you took down an interface or brought it up or took down a network or a protocol. So I would encourage you to always let them run. All right, so we shall go to first Ethernet 1.0, and then we'll give it an IP address interface. First Ethernet 1/0 IP address. Okay. IP address, we shall say 172.1.39.1.1. Say /24. So you know exactly which subnet mask that is. So we shall say no shutdown. If you wanted to shut it down, you just say shutdown. All right. And then it comes up. You can see it's coming up. And then we do the first Ethernet 0/0. We also give it an IP address 172.30.2.1. It's also /24, so 255.255.255.0. In case you don't understand this IP addressing scheme, I'll bring it up in a much later video. and you'll start appreciating what we are doing. Okay, and then with that being done, I think that's it on this network. We can exit and then we save our config on that router. And we go to our last router. We bring up IP addressing on that as well. Alright, so we shall say it has this interface serial 2./0. You can always do a show IP interface brief to know which one is connected or not. So we shall say interface serial 2/0 IP address 209.165.200.234. Alright, the IP address, and the subnet mask is 252. And then you can say no shutdown and it should come up. Okay, the other side should come up as well in a second. That is it. So we can configure this side as well. We didn't give it an IP address. Okay, we didn't give it an IP address, but we can just give it any other network really. Let me rename it. Let me just configure small network 192.168.2.0/24. That's the network, and this interface will be 192.168.2.1/24. And it's as simple as that. It's just an addressing scheme, so we shall say this is fast Ethernet 0/0. It's an interface fast Ethernet 0/0 IP address 192.168.2.1 255.255.255.0. No shutdown, and it should come up. Okay, and we can save that. Now that IP addressing is done, we are going to configure routing. Okay, this is how the entire network is going to communicate. Each network will learn about the other's network through RIP version 2. So let's start where we began, router 2. So right now, if you do a show IP route, it only knows of 3 directly connected routes: the 10.1, the 228, and the 232. So it knows this network 228. It knows the 10.1, okay, and the 232, because they are directly plugged into it. There are cables running to it. You see that? So, but it doesn't know of this network, the 30.1. It doesn't know of the 30.2. It doesn't know of the 168.2, and that is where we are going to educate it dynamically. So we shall go back to the global config mode, and we say we bring up router RIP. Okay, to configure version 2, you simply type version 2, and then you're now configuring router RIP version 2. So what we do, as I'm sure you saw in the previous video, if you haven't, check it out. All we do is advertise directly connected routes or directly connected networks. All right, so we know of 3 directly connected networks to this router. So we shall educate the rest with that information. So we shall say network. We are going to advertise this network, and this network. So we shall say network 209.165.200.228. Okay, and basically that's all you need. We say again network. We advertise 10.1.0.0. Okay, then we say network. We advertise this other side as well, this 232. Okay, So we say 209.165.200.232, and that is it. And we save our config. Okay. So right now, if we exit and we go back, is show IP route. It hasn't advertised any. It hasn't learned of any, but it is advertising. Okay. So we are going to configure this on router 2. We come to router 2, it will advertise 3 networks as well. So we can do a show. We can start on this. We show IP route again. All right, it has 3 directly connected routes. So we are going to configure terminal, and then we say router rip. We say version 2. Then we advertise network. We are going to advertise 172.30.2.0, and then we advertise network 172.39. Why did I name it 39 there? That's 30.1.0. Okay, let's correct this. This is .30. Thank you very much. And then we advertise 209.165.230.228. Sorry, 228. Okay, and then we save and exit. Okay, so if we do a show IP route, now you can see that has learned of one network via this interface. Okay, this interface is 229, this one here. So this router now knows about 232 through this interface. All right. Yep, and basically that's it. It also knows of this 1.0 or 10.0, this one. Okay. Then we go to this, we advertise. So we shall say router rip version 2 network. We advertise whatever it knows. We say 192.168.2.0. Then we say network. We advertise this 232 network 209.165.200.232 network. What else does it know? Oh, it only knows of those 2 networks. So we do right and we exit. All right, so we show IP config, show IP route, sorry.